So we start now with Gregor Hähner. Gregor Hähner is Senior Business Consultant, Manufacturing Industry. And you started 2023, you said, with Dun Bradstreet.
That's right.
Yeah, and you're responsible for really building or helping support building the manufacturing unit for Dun Bradstreet. And before that, you worked many years for management and strategy consultancies, and also in production globally always. You had very global clients.
That's right.
Yeah?
Point.
Okay.
In the process
Perfect.
industry, and then we're complete.
Process industry. Okay, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, also after all this lunch, I would also say thank you from my side too, that you're all here. It's really nice to have you. I think we are having a really good event at this point. I'm really proud to be here. And as a next topic, I would like to discuss a little bit, around 15 minutes, the very big topic of AI. And with this, I have a very slight intro. As said, I come from management consultancy, so part of the work there is basically to discuss market trends, etc., but also to evaluate markets in terms of how to enter a market, if it's accessible, if it's attractive for a company. And I remember, I can recall, it was quite a pain sometimes to actually get this kind of data, and this was really a surprise coming here to DNB, to have a click and then everything is there. And I would like to share this experience with you. Basically what we have and what we can say is that we have 5 blocks, very obviously, which represent markets in Europe. And each of these markets obviously have some manufacturers in them. And if you would like to discuss rather the medium and big size manufacturers, we can argue that they maybe start around 50 million plus USD in annual sales, and we have them listed here. So for example, if we look at UK, we see that there are 3,000 of them in the UK market. But obviously the slide doesn't end here in terms of information which is given. We also have a y-axis which shows that there's a specific share of these companies which actually have cloud computing solutions implemented. And now I would say that this is actually quite a good indicator where you can say it's showing that the company is on track in terms of digitalization and even development of an AI readiness or AI base, whatever you want to call it. And all these 5 markets are in really good shape. And this is a very good sign because AI is obviously a very, very big topic. So we talk about 88% of organizations right now who actually implement AI at this point in time. So these include very sophisticated solutions, but also very small ones. But long story short, 88% is our number. It's a very significant number. And why are so many companies actually discussing this topic or actually trying to work with it? It's also quite obvious. It has huge potential. And I would like to quantify this huge potential even more. And there's this big number on the slide, which says 17 to 25 trillion USD is the number of global economic potential for AI. This is estimated by McKinsey, so they try to estimate this value to give a better perspective of this whole topic. But still, back to the number, it's a very, very big one. And personally, I find kind of hard to actually wrap your head around this kind of numbers. So just to give you some perspective, if you talk about the GDP of Germany in 2024, we have a number of 4.7 trillion USD. That is 20 to 25% of this number. So basically, I think it's obvious that AI is one of the hugest topics we ever faced. And to step back a little bit from all the quantifications, etc., I would like to discuss very broadly what actually AI is or what kind of phases there are. So we can talk about machine learning, etc., but we can also talk about Gen AI or in long generative AI, which is the things which we also have the closest connection to as, let's say, usual human beings who work with the internet and also applications like ChatGPT on a daily basis. And there are 4 main use cases which, one more number, which have 75% of the whole potential of these Gen AI tools, and these are sales and marketing. We just heard that from the Siemens colleagues. So there's a lot of use cases basically trying to have more tailor-fitted solutions and marketing approaches to the customers is one use case. There are a ton of other ones. Then we can talk about customer operations. So whenever you have a customer service interaction via chat, via call, this can be automated. And then we also talk about software engineering and R&D. Basically, as one more side fact, this number Let's make a survey out of this, actually. What do you think? Is this number rather grown by revenue increase, or rather by, then you raise not your hand, rather by cost reductions? So everything is pro cost reductions, which is perfect, which is nice, which is right. Basically, we have a lot of work which can actually be taken away by AI, and only a small chunk of the potential is actually by adding additional revenue. Well, so we can agree on that AI has huge potential for the economy, obviously, but still there's another flip side of the coin. You can see that there are many concerns in the market. So many companies are not really going full into the topic. And this is because of certain concerns. And DNB did a survey on this one. And there are actually three major areas where the concerns actually materialize. And the first one is integration with existing systems. So everybody or every company has a digital ecosystem, and it's in place right now, right? And then you try to work in some AI solutions. It's not so simple. The second thing is, mostly these tools do not come for free. Some are, but most of them, if you have more sophisticated solutions, just do not. And then there's a third point, which is the most complex one, which is data-related concerns. And we can go to the right-hand side of the slide to actually take one more sneak peek into some answers from our survey. And basically, you can have a lot of keywords talking about data trustworthiness, data quality, data security, and so on and so forth. The list goes even beyond these 5 points, which are on the market, which actually make things harder for organizations trying to implement the whole thing. But there are good news. We are here with DNB. Who knows how to solve data issues if not DNB? So I would like to spread our knowledge. We spread this knowledge indeed for decades and decades. It's the same story, but now it gets even more relevant with AI on top of everything else. And this story is master data management. Master data management is the core of this whole development, the core of AI applications. And we can, again, talk about two major parts of this one. So the first is data management setup. We all know we discussed data silos. In fact, data silos hold 81% of all the data out there. And the even worse part is that out of this 81%, only 1% of this data makes it in time to decision makers to actually influence their operations. The other 99% just get outdated. It's just there until nobody ever uses it again because, as said, it's getting old then, and then it's not usable at all. So we got to move away from isolated databases. And then you go to the next step, which is data warehouses, centralized databases. And again, people can argue that there are many companies who actually have data warehouses, etc. But the clue here is it's not enough to only have these warehouses. You also have to centralize all the data in there. So it's not good to have the warehouse and then have still data silos. We talk about organizations who have this figured out that they only have one big data warehouse where all the data is in, and then you are in good shape. But still, the journey doesn't end there. We can go further to the next step, to the next stage, which is cloud-based data platforms. Which, as said, is one key indicator to actually have something, a system which is scalable, etc., and which is more adaptable to everything which will come in the digital age. And even this is not the final stage right now. We can then go to the next level and to the final level, which are integrated data ecosystems, where data is integrated in everything what you have in your organization, and everything is managed in time, etc., and all the stakeholders are involved. Right, so this is the left-hand side. We talked about the structure, and now, of course, you can have the best structure in the world. You also need the right data, and this is where our favorite mascot, I would argue, the data Frankenstein actually comes in. The message is very straightforward. Whatever you put in a system, the output is quite the same in terms of quality. So if you put poor data quality in the system, you just don't get a good output. In fact, the output can actually hurt your system because it can bring you to decisions which are suboptimal or even leading in the wrong direction. So again, we have to discuss specific points. Data quality is characterized by accuracy, how correct is your data actually which you have. Then actuality, is it still in time or is it already outdated because it's from 3 years ago? Is it complete? We don't want to have a small window out of the picture. We want to have the full thing, the full picture, the full insight. And then last but not least, consistency. We also just need a structure to being able to work with this one. To close with, I like hiking. I used to do not when my parents took me to trips, but when I started traveling, it became much more attractive. And therefore, I put this picture here, and the message is also very clear. I would say you are on a journey in terms of digitalization transformation or AI implementation, etc. And the way up to the top may be steep, it may be slippery, maybe your legs hurt. There are many, many reasons why what makes it actually hard, but the core message here is at the very end, it's worth it. It's worth it on the whole way, but especially if you're on top and have the view. And I would just like to give you 3 core messages which help you on this journey. First, overcome the data silos. As said, they're way too prominent in our companies, in our markets. We need to step away from those. Secondly, ensure the data quality. We just discussed this. And third, if you have all this covered, please, for God's sake, make sure you leverage your data. The data is the goal of the century, and it's just lost potential if you not really leverage or use it. Last but not least, for the last 30 seconds, I would like to give some insights concerning DNB. Of course, we are on our own journey in terms of AI. We not only try, we actually do improve our data quality in different ways. AI helps us to cleanse the data, it helps to make the data more accessible, and so on and so forth. And it doesn't stop there, we also use specific applications on ourselves. So we have, for example, Hoovers, which is one of our go-to products, where we have AI tools integrated right now, just again to raise the productivity of the end user. And last but not least, we have ChatDNB, which is the equivalent of us or for us for ChatGPT. Basically, you type in something, what you're interested in, and then you get really nice data back. And this is already leveraged by a lot of our employees and also by our customers right now. It's published, and you can also discuss this at the demo points. And with these words, thanks a lot for your attention, and happy to see you later.
Thank you, Gregor. Thank you very much.